Hi, metalworking students. I am going to show you today how to work with the nickel that you're going to make into a cuff bracelet. So what I have here are a couple supplies. I have a pencil and pen. I have the scratch tool that I will supply you. I also have the piece of nickel. You can see that that's the metal on the back. And then it's coated with this black substance, which is kind of like tar. I have some tape and I have a work surface. I also have an image that I took a photo of. This is actually what I'm going to draw on my nickel cuff. I wanted to get that kind of decorative ironwork. You can do a sketch, you can do it freehand, it could be abstract, real, whatever you'd like. Just have an image ready that you can transfer on. So I'm going to show you that process of transferring. So I'm going to use a dark pencil, and the reason for the dark pencil is I'm going to use it as a transfer method. So I'm going to color on the back of my paper whatever the image part that I want to transfer. So if your image is the entire piece of paper, then coat the entire thing. Now I'm actually going to tape it down so I have some kind of way to keep it in place. So I'm just going to tape it right here to my work surface, and then I'm going to do some freehand drawing as well. But I'm going to get the main image that I want right here. So I'm just taping it down so it doesn't move. I'm now going to use my pen, and the pen is going to be the way of transferring that graphite that I just put on the back of the actual paper. So it's going to show up kind of like a light gray on that black surface. So I'm pushing pretty hard to really get it to transfer. I'm kind of coloring in the shadow areas or the details, whatever it is that you're drawing, your pattern, your design, whatever it may be. So I'm now just getting the main lines kind of transferred on. I will have the picture to reference in case I need to go back and I forgot a line or I want to add in more detail. But I am coloring in those shadows just because that's going to help me with my drawing itself, and it'll identify those outside lines better too, because you won't be able to see every line that you transferred. So I'm transferring everything. So I'm now getting into these little detail areas here and just kind of tracing around them, coloring in the shadows, and so forth. So whatever your image is, get as much detail transferred while you have it taped onto the metal. And then we're going to use this scratch art tool to actually scratch into the black, which will expose the metal. Wherever the metal is exposed is where the acid will actually eat through the plate. So the metal will actually disappear in the acid, allowing there to be kind of a groove from the metal. And that's what gives you that really cool texture. So I think I have everything transferred on as best I can. I'm just going to peel this back and kind of look at it. Sure enough, there it is. So now my transfer is there. I noticed I didn't get one little section over here. So I'm just going to go back and get that in there. And now I have a graphite version of my actual image onto the black. So the graphite from the back of the paper transferred onto the black. Now I'm ready to use this tool, which has a point to it, scratched on the sides is a blade, and then the tip as well. And now I'm going to use my tool, and I'm actually going to expose the metal. So I'm scraping away to expose the metal. You can see the shininess of the metal. So I'm going to come back to you once I have the entire image scratched out. Okay, I have now finished my etching. You can see I kind of added some freehand drawing in with the decorative element. Just kind of gave me a starting point, and then I kind of went for it with some other curve and organic lines. Now I'm ready to put duct tape on the back because I'm going to put it in the etching mordant, which is the acid that will eat into the plate where you have drawn or exposed the actual nickel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of duct tape, and I'm going to protect the metal on the back of the plate because you don't want it to etch. So I'm just going to lay it down on here, and I'm going to create these little handles so that I can pull it out of the etching mordant when I'm ready, like so. And then I'm going to lay this into the etching mordant. So that's what this is. It's an acid. It's bought by Rio Grande, which is the company that I buy all of our supplies for the metalworking class. And when you put it into the container, it will turn blue because it has a reaction to the nickel itself. So you can use nickel and silver. So I'm going to suspend it down in there, and then I'm going to wait over an hour. I will start to see a series of bubbles form in the image itself, and I'll know that the etchant is actually working. So I'm gonna cap this off, I'm gonna wait an hour, and then I will show you what it looks like after that hour. Okay, I have now waited an hour, and as I waited, I could see just little bubbles forming on here. So my next step, which I'll do for you, is I'm going to remove it from the liquid, rinse it with gloves on, and take the duct tape off. And then I'm going to use mineral spirits, which will dissolve the black itself. Once that's dissolved, then the entire thing will be metal, but you'll be able to see the etching of the little grooves in the nickel. So I'll show you that when it's in the complete state, and then I will bend it for you into a cuff or a C shape, and then it will be finished. And you can just polish it, shine it up, curve the edges if they're a little bit too sharp, any kind of filing and so forth that you want to do. One other note I meant to say is once it's done, you can also go back in and cut out areas. So you could drill and punch into it and then actually do some more texturizing and cutouts if you'd like. So that's something that you can add to your design after the etching part is done. Okay, I have now taken all of the black etching tar stuff off, and you can see that I've cleaned it, and it's now at the point to just start to sand and to file and to kind of finish it because there's just discoloration from bubbles and so forth from the liquid. And then here you can see that the edges are really sharp. These are the corners that you may want to file and kind of round off. So at this point, you can finish it, and then I will take the responsibility of bending it. If you're at school, we'll do it there. If you're at home, I will get it from you and bend it and return it to you. So that's the finish of the nickel etched cuff piece. Let me know if you have any questions.